everybody, and welcome to Galactic Gab. I am Tanys Coughlan from the Twillo Lifestyle Community, Twillo Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by these two lovely ladies, Jennifer Jurkofsky from My Holistic Self, and Dr. Lisa Thompson. Welcome. How's everyone doing?
It's been a couple weeks.
Okay, it's a week.
It's been, a couple weeks. Yeah. You know, as you guys know, we were supposed to be on a couple weeks ago, and I had to postpone us.
Yeah, that's okay.
Would have had to postpone again. But I'm like, okay, nope, I'm going to get on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How are you guys?
Okay. I'm just laughing at this. Oof.
Oof. Oof. Sure.
Yeah,
it's been a wild little while.
It has. Yeah, the last week and a bit. Yeah, for sure. For me, it's been more intense in the last week. It's a little better at the end of this week, but yeah, the energies were, eclipse-like. Maybe we'll just say hello to people for the moment while we settle into that. Good evening, ladies. Excited for the chat.
Hello, Kaylee.
That's from Kaylee. Welcome, welcome. And we have Hypnus City on, so that's awesome. Welcome, Nalani. And so what's going on, Lisa? Do you want to start us off?
Sure. So, okay, sometimes it's really fun being here on Earth School and going through all the Earth things, right?
Yes.
So what's been going on the last, during the double eclipse, because I think that compounded everything, is I just finished final editing my newest book about my husband's suicide. And in reading through that was bringing up even deeper layers of emotion. So that was coming to the surface. Okay. And then that was then bringing up even more deeper issues of mother kind of looms from being in the womb. And then my son was here for a week visiting from Washington, and he is going through some very, very challenging, hard times. So I was holding energy and space for him and just hoping for the best as a mama. He just turned 17. And then basically maintaining everyone in my world's energy. I am their support. And then feeling like, okay, well, who's supporting me besides me? And so kind of realizing that is what I am calling in. There have been a lot of very I was raised to be extremely independent, not be supported by anyone, and continual abandonment, unwanted issues in all my relationships. And so that has manifested itself in this physical form of eczema, which I don't normally have eczema, but eczema basically, for me, where it's expressed itself are the thinnest parts of my skin. So my elbow creases, behind my knees, my neck, and my eyes now. And for the last 2 weeks, it's been my eyes and so what's interesting is that what is compounding these symptoms is that now I've become sensitive to all foods that are high in histamine.
Oh.
And so I have had to now limit what comes into my mouth, food and drink wise, for the last 2 weeks. And then also now I become even more sensitive to my environment, and even my kitties are making it worse, which I've never had cat problems. And I know it's a temporary thing. And I know that underlying it is all the emotions, but then it's all the physical stuff too. that is making it worse. And so, I wanted to be really, like, other people might be going through stuff right now, and it's massively big. And I know this isn't like a permanent thing. It's just I'm allowing whatever wants to come up to then be removed. It's like my whole body, my nervous system is going through a massive upgrade.
Yeah.
And so that is what has been going on. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah. I have heard a lot of that type of stuff coming from clients and whatnot as well. We actually, Melanie is saying her arthritis is flaring up. So she's asking her guides what she's holding on to. I know my aches and pains have been not good for a month or two. So we're all working through stuff. How have you been, Jen?
Yeah, well, it was interesting with the whole like eczema piece. I have had it before.
Me too.
I had it recently in like my arm and my like just the inner elbow and inner knee kind of space. And it was really interesting because like it was really holding on for a good like month and a bit before it finally cleared. And it was interesting because I like to look at, the metaphysical anatomy and all, because I find that there's sometimes some nice connection in there. And noticing, the different components associated with it and going, okay, like where is it that I might be feeling these things in my life? Because, I do believe that a lot of these, symptoms show up as a moment for us to reflect and go deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaylee's saying here too that she had hives, and all the doctors could say was that it was stress hives.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's interesting. So my daughter and my son, they're like, you need to go to the doctor. I'm like, I don't need to go to the doctor because I already know what's going on. Like they're not going to be able to give me anything. And my son, he doesn't understand all this. Again, he's 17, but he's like, they'll give you medicine. I'm like, I don't need medicine for this. I just need to clear what it is that's going on and let my body do its magical thing that it knows how to do.
Yeah. And so Nalani says she's had several acquaintances that have experienced shingles since their third visit.
Yeah.
Visit?
Like doctor visit, maybe?
I'm assuming. Maybe you can clarify that for us, please.
I don't know. With it being in quotes, I'm wondering if it wasn't contact visit.
Yeah. Yeah, it could very well be. And
shingles, sorry, we'll come back, Kaylee. Sorry, just like the shingles piece, because I know quite a few people who have had shingles as well. And, the association with chickenpox there, but it's really interesting when we look at it again from that metaphysical kind of standpoint of, the body is needing to resolve certain things that didn't get fully, resolved or released or taken care of. So it's just an interesting thing as we go through and notice kind of what's coming up and how so many of us are having these different symptoms and they're showing up very strongly in the physical. We talk about the 3D to the 5D and all of that and how it's not meaning that we're going to like not be in this body anymore, but this body has to adjust.
Yeah. Well, they're making big changes to our physicality as well as our nervous system at this time, right? There's the change from the carbon-based to the silica-based, and of course that puts our body into like, oh my God, what's happening mode. And then, which is that fight or flight response. And then we have all those things that go along with that as well. So, yeah. So she was saying they were working their way down my arm on my left side month after month. So it was interesting exploring the energetic components. Yes, I bet.
Yeah.
This was the visits.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm. And you've got support.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Nalani said this as well. This community supports me. So beautiful. We're happy to help.
Yeah. And when I say I'm not supported, it's not like I don't have support. It's just not the way that I would like it in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it, in general, people want to support, but then they don't always know how we need that support at the time. So Kaylee's had a tender crown for about 2 weeks now.
Okay.
Anyone else? I don't think I've had a tender crown, but I think in general I'm more sensitive to things. I've noticed a sensitivity to smells that wasn't there before. Like anything that's kind of off, I'm like, it kind of turns my stomach. So, which wasn't the way I used to have a stronger stomach. So,
well, and it's interesting you talk about smells, and I've noticed that the air has smelled differently at different times, depending on things that are going on, and that's been really fascinating too.
Oh, we have a crown theme. My crown on my tooth popped off. That's not nearly as nice as your other ones.
No.
No. No. No.
That would be a miracle of God if I was.
Me too.
Yeah, although I do have to say that did make everything smell very different too.
Do you know I used to have straight hair until I had my son, and now it's curly. Yeah. It's amazing what hormones do.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah. Well, so what else is going on in the world? Like in your world?
I don't know. Jen, what's going on in your world?
She
had a book signing.
Yeah. In my world, I had a book signing last weekend, and it was wonderful. So many people came out and felt just absolutely supported and could feel all the love, and it was just a fantastic experience.
Beautiful.
And when is your book expected to come out, Lisa?
It actually, it will be birthed, speaking of babies, be birthed on November 2nd.
Beautiful.
And normally I wouldn't do it on a Sunday, but that's how the numerology worked out when I was working with my coach, figuring out, because we didn't want to do it a little bit like a week later during Mercury retrograde, because my publisher had, well, what about 11/11? I'm like, yeah, right in the middle of Mercury, no. So when we did the numerology, here's what's super interesting. So for those of you who are not familiar with what the new book is about, so my husband Skip, 2 years ago, September 15th, 2 years ago, he committed suicide completely out of the blue. And so this book is about the end leading up to the suicide, of what was going on, just to put pieces together for people who knew him. And then my journey through that grief and healing process, and then what it led to next. And then now it's okay, and now what is even next after this? And back in May, I had a psychic mediumship reading with Lisa Williams, and it came very strongly through him. She's like, well, I can't tell her what to do, but he's saying, finish the book. So I finished the book, and Skip's favorite number was 22. And when Alyssa, my coach, did the numerology, it like 11/2/2025 is master number 22. I'm like, well, thanks, Skip. Perfect.
Beautiful.
And then the final like page count of after the first like design part of the book came to 222 pages.
Perfect.
So I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I'm
It's
like,
gotta
because
be.
I told him, I'm like, if we're finishing the book, you have to help this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not just finishing it for my own sake. Although it's been cathartic, I can tell you, and rereading. That's
Ooh.
part of bringing up those emotions, you know, again and again. Yeah.
Goosebumps. You got some confirmation going
Yeah.
on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so November 2nd,
Beautiful.
official birth. And then I'm doing a whole like pre-order. I'll be announcing that next week for author signed copies. Although, sorry, Canadians, it's for US only because of the shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
That's okay. We'll have to just make our way down to Hawaii.
I know.
Right.
Well,
We'll have to bring an extra suitcase so we can bring back all her stuff.
Vale Ren is wondering when you guys are coming to visit us. So
Awesome.
Yeah, they'll do the whole check and they're like, you look a little square there. I'm like, but I'm not setting anything off, so we're good.
Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah, but it would be wonderful to come down and meet in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Soon.
yes.
Mhm.
Tanys, how about you? What's new?
What's new? We are, as Kaylee says, starting a year 2 of the Galactic Shaman program because they wanted more. So we're stepping into that. So I just had my first class last weekend for another full year of the year 1 of Galactic Shaman. And we're starting this weekend for the second year. So that's fun. I'm in talks about starting a new podcast as well.
Another one.
Yeah. Well, there may be a couple that are kind of going to the wayside. So this is going to be priority because we're in the process of getting certification with the International Yoga Association or Yoga International. Anyway, I can't remember which order it's in, but the International Yoga Association to have like a registered school with them. And so this podcast will be about integrating like body, mind, and soul together in a different way. Probably it'll be a different format from what we're doing with Twillo Talks. So that's, we're looking at that to start to build the yoga aspect as well into things.
Very nice.
So that's that. And I'm still working on my 2 books and, fingers in all sorts of pies as these manifesting generators do. Right, Jen?
I'm a projector and I got my finger in too many damn pies. I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's where we're at. We're working on some classes. We've got a business one. Jen and I are working on a business program, hopefully for the new year, which I think we'll have a couple of other people that will probably collaborate on it with us as well. And what else are we doing, Jen? I feel like I'm missing something.
Pretty much got Sechem ready.
Yes.
To go. So that'll be an adjunct to the Galactic Year 2 class. And anybody who's interested in that can join. And and working on the compendium to go with the Lyran Legacy. It's there. I just have to, the editing.
I'm not looking forward to that part of the process. I don't think.
It's always a fun part. But, you know, like to what you were saying, Lisa, you know, I think so much, at least when I did mine, and I can only imagine with yours, with everything you've been through, is there's a healing that happens every time you go through it.
True.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and again, for me, what it brought up too was still deeper layers. Again, we're here to be human. We're not here to be perfect, right? And we're healed in this one session, right? Because then, if so, we would be ascended masters. We wouldn't need to be here on Earth.
That's
anymore.
right.
And so for me, yeah, it's deeper levels of stuff coming up. And what I realized, okay, so this is, again, and I mean, it's not directly obviously related to the galactic, but my husband's suicide propelled me to be fully into my mission as a galactic ambassador. So, and I do write about that in the book. Like it is related, but my mother issues, like it was in the womb where I was not wanted. And my ETs were doing everything to tinker with me in the womb to make sure that I was a viable baby to come into this form. And they still had to tinker with me throughout my childhood because my body, my physical body was like, we don't like Earth. and now my like that. And now my physical body is like, we don't like Earth. With this upgrade.
I think that's part of what we're all going through with all of these symptoms too, is our bodies are like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And okay, so yeah, with the not wanted. So then what that did throughout my life was recreate scenarios in relationships where by
the way, it's 22 minutes, 22 seconds.
Okay. All right. Ultimately, like I would recreate those feelings of not being wanted, or, you know, the abandonment kind of thing. And so then, even though Skip, my husband, who happened to be my third husband, when he was alive, I felt fully loved and supported by him. And then he kills himself. And so then I was like, okay, there's that, even though it wasn't my fault. But then it's like, okay, I was like, there were parts of me, I'm not good enough for him to want to stay around, even though he stayed far longer than what he had planned to, which he's come through multiple people. He was like, I lived way longer than I ever was going to because of you. You saved me many times. And so... And then, and coming through from the other people, like he couldn't support me physically in this earth life. He could not support me. He can much better from the other side, and he is. But that's a very different kind of support from those that we can't physically touch, hold, and see, right? And even from our galactic family and our whole spirit guide team and all that, right? We know that we have all this support, but it's in this earth physical reality that, okay, you know, the feelings of like not being wanted, not being supported were coming up. And so with my coach, over the last couple of weeks, we've been doing this massive like DNA clearing and upgrade and reinstalling the program. I am wanted. I am supported. I am adored.
We want you and support you and absolutely
adore you.
It just doesn't help that we're like on opposites.
Right.
It's almost like we're spirit guides.
Right.
Not all that different from their
Yeah.
But it's a lot to reprogram all of that, but it's beautiful that you're going through that process.
Yeah. And so like I'm all about, okay, well, here's what I'm going through, being vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we have this outlet so that, you know, whatever someone else is going through, it's okay. And there's always, you do have support, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple here. Like, so yeah, so definitely sometimes you just want a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Nalani says, wow, my starter husband. That's cute. Passed in 2010.
I've heard him call husbands too. My friend Kelly calls
husbands. That's cute.
Yeah.
They were divorced in 1986. He comes to here sometimes. And our galactic guides, or our guides and galactic family, can hold us and give us touch, but it's just not the same. Yeah.
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 It's true. I think we can relate to that, Jen.
Yeah. Well, when you know that energy is there with you, but it's one thing to know it's there, and even to have that, as Kaylee said, that energetic hug. Like I've had that where I've felt that being held, but it is different than in, the full on material form.
Yeah. I keep thinking about that day in Swiss Chalet.
Oh my goodness.
That was funny.
Okay. Is that a story you should tell? Yes.
There is a story to tell.
I think it's safe to tell that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were okay. So those of you who have gone through the Lyran Legacy, you know that there was 4 of us basically who had done a lot of ritual ceremony, things like that, in order to be connected. And then, so Tanys and I are here, but the other 2 are not. And we were having a conversation at Swiss Chalet, like you do. And we were talking about them and how they, we wanted them to be here. We missed them and we appreciated their energy and all of that. And they said, well, you have each other to us. But we both turned at the exact same moment in the exact same direction, looked in and at the exact same time said, we know we have each other. And it was just like this moment of like we both were responding at the exact same time to the same thing in the middle
and
of
the energy
show.
And the energy was in the same space.
I love that.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
And then we had some synchronicities this weekend as well with our rings.
Our rings, which I have to say, I feel such a shift since then. So we were talking about this a little bit on Monday, but we got Moldavite rings. And a lot of people talk about like the energy of it and how it feels and all of that. Since I've gotten it, I have felt more at home and more able to be in my body than I have in a long time.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny because we saw the rings together and we're like, oh, multiple rings. And we pulled them out and I picked up one and tried it and didn't fit me. I handed it to Jen. She tried it. It was a perfect fit. I picked up the next one and it was a perfect fit for me. And we're like, okay, that's a sign. We have to do this. And so we did. Yeah. Because it connects us to that galactic lifetime, I think.
Yeah. Maybe I need to put my Moldavite ring on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's funny that you have one too.
Oh yeah, I've had it.
It's not surprising.
No, but it's awesome.
No, and I used to wear it a lot, but now I've been wearing my gold stuff here. I was a silver girl before I moved here to Hawaii, and everyone here is gold. Everything here is gold.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now finally, because I have a tan, gold looks okay on me.
I have a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same. But yeah, I do feel, especially with all of the galactic energy coming through and the deep connection that has been coming through in terms of these parallel lives that we have,
Yeah.
that the Moldavite, it's almost like it helps me to ground in both.
Yeah.
I can ground in that galactic energy, which allows me to then be able to ground here.
Yeah.
As opposed to feeling a little out here all the time.
I don't know. I still feel out there a lot.
Yeah, not to say like there isn't still some of that, but it's just been different. I don't know how to explain the different, but it's like the vibration just feels like home.
Mhm. Yeah. I concur.
Yeah. So do we have a card?
Oh, yeah.
And we do. And we have two.
Mhm.
So we'll start with we'll start with this one. I don't know if we've pulled this one before, but if we have, it's always
It's whatever is pertinent at the moment.
whatever it's supposed to be. So the first one I pulled was this hybrid card, Clarity. And so what's interesting about the hybrids, the Zeta human hybrids specifically, that I just want to share is that, you know, it's being predicted timeline wise that perhaps as early as 2027 we're going to have massive global open contact, and that it would be our Pleiadians, friends, family, and our hybrid children that are going to be the ones to land here first or make contact first, because they're the most closely related to us genetically.
Yeah.
And so for those who aren't familiar with that Zeta Human Hybrid program, nothing scary about it. If you're part of it, you sign up for it. That's all I want to say.
That's
still
right.
all the time on my UFO tours, people are always, well, what about the abductions? I'm like, it's not an abduction. You like, people seriously signed up for that. They just, they have this, their personality puts a story on it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So hybrid clarity. Okay. Observe yourself through the eyes of the hybrid. Understand what you need to change or where you need to grow and evolve as an earth human to make the reality of instant manifestation true for you. Where could you evolve? Is this a new practice? Is it a new belief system? Perhaps it's just taking the steps. Observe yourself making those changes, evolving in front of your very eyes, shifting into the human that understands that they create their reality and that they have total control over that creation. You are in control of the thoughts going on in your mind. You understand that you need to be so fully in line with what you desire to manifest that it has no other choice but to become reality. It's when your subconscious thoughts fight against your conscious thoughts that stunts your ability to create. As you're moving towards fifth dimensional reality, the faster your manifestations become reality. So, I think, yeah, very appropriate. And then the mantra or the affirmation that goes with it: I have clarity in how I desire to evolve.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they have no other choice but.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, from my understanding, it is a frequency-specific resonance for us to be on whatever that timeline is that we desire, we want to create. Like, We have to be so fully in that vibration, that frequency, and then it's not like we even have to really do anything. It's just we're there. We're part of that frequency. And then it's about maintaining that frequency. So that vision, those emotions, that vibration, to stay in that reality. Because we're changing timelines all the time.
Yeah.
Like every single little choice we make, we're changing timelines.
Yeah, there's times when I'm like, okay, wait. I switched. Why? I want to go back. Or, yeah, I don't want this one. Let's go to a different one.
Yeah. I was actually contemplating that earlier today, random things that come to the mind. But that idea of, you know, how even here in the midst of talking, like we can be shifting timelines, and that we're all like watching and listening, but we're still jumping timelines all the time. And so our experiences of things are constantly changing because, you know, I don't remember what triggered it. There was like something I watched and somebody was talking about, that's what it was. They were talking about something galactic, and it didn't resonate. And my first thought wasn't like, oh, they're wrong. It was like, oh, that's an interesting timeline. I'm curious what's going on in their timeline.
Yeah.
And that was what made the shift, because it wasn't like there was just this moment of like, wow, there truly is an infinite number of timelines, and we have access to many of them, right?
Yeah.
To be able to be in that space of it's none of it is about right or wrong anymore. It really is like just which timeline am I on?
Yeah. What I want to add to that is it's interesting because I don't know how much you guys follow some of the different talking heads in the UFO ET community. And some are like very well known, others maybe not as well known, but there's so much different information being put out there, right? And some people have like really clamored on to, okay, it's this way, and then so everyone's on that train. And then some of that, I'm just like, that does not resonate with me. I'm in a completely different reality, a different timeline. And like you, Jen, it's not that I'm like, that's not wrong. It's just, okay, yes, there are different perspectives, different realities, different timelines. And it really, is that the one you want to be on? Is that the story you want to be in? That's not the one I want to be in.
Yeah. And I think that's such a beautiful way to look at it too. It's like, that's just not where I want to be. And so I'm not going to, it's not even about like, oh, you're wrong and I have to disprove it. I just have to be in the one you want to be in.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to try so hard to be right. We just have to be.
And there are so many factions now. It's getting way more divisive in that community. And so for anyone who's watching or listening, like really understand that, you know, the people are, well, I'm right and they're wrong. No, everyone is correct in how they understand things.
Yeah.
And so do you want to be part of the team fear, or do you want to be part of team love, or do you want to be just neutral, somewhere in the middle? You can be wherever you want to be.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it was interesting because last time we were having a meeting with the Alliance, and we were talking about, you know, how do one of the people that we were on with was talking about somebody else asking, like, how do you know which people who are bringing messages, like who to believe and who not to believe, and trying to figure all of that out. And it was so neat because he's going through this whole process of what he does. And he's very, you know, scientific in the way that he thinks and all, but it was such a beautiful thing because it was very guided in the way that he was understanding, you know, what resonated or didn't for him. He just had this kind of framework that he used. But it was such a beautiful moment because we got to have this in-depth conversation about how, you know, when there is deep rigidity about something having to be a very set way, we know that feels off. Like that just inherently feels misaligned within us. And so the more open something is, the more possibility there is for shifting and change. Generally is actually more aligned because it feels like there's expansiveness. And we know that with the galactics, there is expansiveness.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's something that they talk about a lot, is just like that we put ourselves in boxes, right? We have too many barriers that are self-imposed in what we do. If we can open up how we think, it would change us and then ultimately the world.
Right.
So.
And I love that piece of the card that you read, because that idea of the mind, and we get to pick and choose what we want to believe. And we are conditioned from the moment we get here to believe what the mind tells us to be true, regardless of the fact that the mind has no idea what is right or what is true. It's a program, and it's constantly running its program. So it's filters and its biases and all of the things that have been, programmed into it. Doesn't matter if it's true. The mind doesn't care if the way that it's perceiving something is accurate or not, as long as it can fit within a box and a parameter that it has decided it needs to in order to survive.
And that's the key word, is survive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to make sense of it to survive. But no, not with this.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, so in my human design, I don't have my crown defined, but my only gate that's activated is gate 61. And so all the information that comes through this brain of Lisa is this true for me? Not for anyone else, but does this resonate true for me? And I have the ability to be open to other ideas and change my mind when needed and all those things. So
awesome.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, right? Because that's what we know as a healthy head, one that is willing to be able to see all of the different options and possibilities and hold space for it, but to also be able to then filter all of the information that comes in. And in your case with the 61, to what resonates for me.
Yeah.
That's the truth that I'm going to bring in.
Well, and what I love about that is it has nothing to do with anyone else. Like anyone else can believe whatever they want to believe. They can have whatever ideas, and it's not my job to change their mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're not here to convince anybody of anything.
Nope.
We're just here to share our own experience, and whoever's meant to will be activated.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed recently on my tours in the last couple months is that more and more people are coming to me that are really ready to embrace this idea of galactic family, even more so than just are they real? They're here? Are they taking over? And so
this is good.
Yeah. So there's been a major shift in 4 years that I've been doing this actively with, the public.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that because it gives me hope that whatever we are out here doing, all of us, because we are all a part of this, it's, we are changing that collective mind just seed by seed.
That's such a beautiful thing to see that opening too, because we're all being activated in different ways to begin to recognize our galactic family, right? And I know we've talked about this on here before, but feeling so blessed and being able to be gifted with my galactic family again.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Being able to feel at home here with that energy, and knowing also where that energy comes from. It's just such a beautiful experience to be able to hold both.
Yeah. Yeah, I find, holding both, I find that we're bridging the energy more and more. We're bringing that energy down and bridging, being the bridge, right? Being the tool. We talk about being the tool all the time. Bridging that energy is being that tool to be able to bring the galactic energy down for people to actually feel it and understand the nuance of it. I was going to say the difference, but it's a nuance, really. It's all energy, but it's a nuance of that energy.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I mean, I know you guys have experiences all the time, especially when you're together, with your guides, your Pleiadian guide, and, the playing with you and all the things.
Yes.
So what's been interesting is that, so after the tours, Valerin and I, we typically hang out at the site and we're looking, and they always give us even more of a light show than we experience with our guests. But a few weeks ago was so fascinating because we're sitting there and all of a sudden we hear this this noise out in the field, and we're in the middle of this open field, like there are no people around, right? And we hear, and we have specific animals on the island, and at first we thought it was just an animal. But then it was like this stereo, like there was one coming from the right direction and one coming from the left direction, and they were talking to each other. But it wasn't human words. But it was so, we're like, shh, let's listen. And it was so, and we both, full body chills. We're like, okay, they're out here in the field with us.
Yeah.
We don't understand what they're saying, but they're there. And so more and more stuff like that is happening. We also had again, just the two of us were sitting there, and this massive light beam shined down on the ground to our right side. It caught our attention. We look up, we see a craft, and then it just disappears. And so, and then the other night, 2 nights ago, he was going out to his car to drive home, but he's sitting in his car just having a little snack, and he sees these blue lights in my neighbor's driveway.
Oh.
And he doesn't think anything of it, but it's like these LED kind of blue lights. And so he pulls around the cul-de-sac, he sees the lights, but then he gets partway down the road and he decides to back up because he was feeling like someone was even listening to us talking when we were still talking. He backs up. He doesn't see the full figure, but what he saw was something that looked kind of very tall and lanky. And the voice, because he rolls down his window, he's like, is everything okay here? And they said something about, yeah, we're just waiting. But they're shining these blue lights on him that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, so last night we were talking about it because my neighbors, they don't sit in their driveway. Like, people here, especially on our cul-de-sac, people do not do that. But as soon as he had texted me, like, oh, this is what happened, I immediately was like, yeah, that was not a human.
No.
And so then we were talking about it, and we were like, okay, yeah, that was not a human. So they're becoming more and more physically evident.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious if you guys are experiencing that too.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had a lot of it lately, but I've felt them more. So it's not, I haven't seen any more than usual.
Okay.
But I think I've felt more energies around me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had a couple times where I've felt things more in the physical, or it's appeared more in the physical. We've seen, Reagan and I, actually, we were driving and we saw, it had to have been a ship following us as we were driving. And then we're watching it because we're like, okay, is it like a satellite? What's going on? It's not moving like a satellite. It's kind of doing something. And then all of a sudden it just, shoom. And then it stopped and it was right there. And we went,
not a satellite.
Not a satellite doing that.
And then it, boom, again. And then, we're driving like up here where we were in town at the time. So like just the fact even that we could see it in town with all the lights and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to a section up here, and then boom, all of a sudden it's there again in the sky. And we're like, okay, wait a minute. And then boom, somewhere else. And we're like, okay, it's definitely either the same ship or something similar. And so we've had those experiences where we've seen them. And then I think I shared this when it happened, but I'm sitting on the sofa and everything was turned off, and I'm just sitting there looking, because I have big windows so I can look out, and I'm looking at the stars, and all of a sudden I hear this vroom, 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 and I'm like, what in the world? And I'm sitting there just listening to it. Mm-hmm. And then finally I'm like, okay, I want to go check this out. So I get up and I walked out onto my back porch, and my dog, one of them, is sitting out there just staring at the sky, not barking, nothing. And I'm sorry, like if you hear this like loud sound, the dogs are going to be going nuts, but none of them were going crazy. None of them were barking. The one that was out there was just looking at the sky, and I looked down at him and I said, you hear that too, don't you? And he looks at me and he looks back up at the sky. And I'm like, okay. And then I go back in the house and I'm like, Don, you need to come on up here. And he comes up and he's hearing it, and then it starts to go. And I'm like, okay, there's no way that was like a plane or anything else. Like it took way too long. It was there for such a while that, like, okay, it was definitely something letting us know it was there in that moment.
Yeah, I was forgetting actually about that, the time on your couch. I think we've talked about this on here before. That wasn't, it's recent in terms of the last year, but not super recent, but that felt very physical. Mm-hmm. One came and sat beside me on the couch. Yeah. And I could feel the energy, that was like pushing me out of the way. That was very physical for me. I haven't had the ship experience like you guys have, but
yeah. Well, and that experience was so neat because you and Jeff were both sitting there, and you both felt the pressure of somebody sitting down between you at the same time. And both of you were like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I love that, those moments where, I think there have been plenty of times in my life where I've kind of gone, is it just me? Like, right? Is my mind like just seeing it because it wants to, or what? But whenever I have these joint experience, like very visceral joint experiences, and you go, okay, no, this is something.
Yeah. Like our Swiss chalet story, where it's joint. We both had the same experience. We heard the same thing, all of that. And then, you can't make this stuff up when more than one person is seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's something to it, right?
There is. And I guess why I felt called to bring that up is because it is going to happen more and more. So for people to be aware and not to be afraid.
Yeah.
Because, it's one thing to intellectually think, oh, that'd be really cool if a ship lands. And I have my UFO tour guests all the time again saying, will a ship land right next to us? I want it to take me away. And I'm like, actually, you probably don't want it to land next to you. We would probably all fall asleep because the energy is so high. And and I'm like, I don't know. Are you mentally ready? Is your ego, is your personality ready to handle if something and not go into total fear shock? And so I would say, these little baby steps, these breadcrumbs that we're given, let it be a way to regulate your nervous system to that, okay, this actually is real. And what if a craft were to land and beings, even if they look like us, were to come out of that craft and start communicating with you? Are you ready for that? And I think a lot of people would say, yeah, but actually that's them thinking they'd be ready, but they're actually not quite.
Yeah. Well, I remember the meeting that I got called into when there was Pleiadians on one side and Arcturians on the other, and they were talking about whether we were ready. for them to come down or not. And the Pleiadians was, yes, let's go. And the Arcturians were like, no. We have a plan. We need to follow the plan. And I was like, yeah, okay. I went, I'm ready. I don't know about the rest of the world. And they're like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's true though. You don't know how you're going to react until you actually see it. You know, I thought it was so cool with it until the mantis beings arrived in the backyard, and it wasn't physical, but it was much more physical than what I had, and it was really like intimidating, is what I would call it. I wasn't scared, but I was like intimidated because they were larger than me, and I was like. Of course, it was a beautiful experience. I loved it. But you do have that initial, like, this is different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I think it's such an important thing, you know, that you're both talking about in terms of knowing that just because we think we will respond a certain way doesn't mean that we will actually respond in that way.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of things even in our life here that we think we're ready for. You know, and then something happens and you're like, oh, I didn't expect to feel that way about this, you know? That's an interesting observation. That happened to me last week with something. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. Interesting observations. So, and that was an Earth thing. So.
Right. Well, again,
and they still get us.
Yeah.
And I probably have said this before, but I just I'll say it again for those in the back who maybe didn't hear it, is one way to start practicing getting used to these other beings coming and being a part of us is really embrace the diversity here on Earth, not in our human form and all our beautiful animal forms. Like, look at animals that you think are ugly or scary or gross and really look at them and see them for their true beauty. And the more that you can do that, then you're preparing yourself more for what's to come.
Yeah, I had a friend show me a picture of a blue woolly aphid.
Okay.
They're cute.
Okay.
They almost look like little fairies.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know, came to mind.
Yeah, well, I think it's even just the simple things like, you know, a spider, and how many people are like, a spider.
Right.
But to be able to actually stop and look at them, or like the pictures that, you know, that are blown off however much time, where you get to actually see their faces and what they, you know, like, they're so precious when you get to actually see them like that.
They are. And that's the thing. Yeah. And so, yes, you do have to get out. Do you want to click on that frog one? Yes. It would be wise to work through your fear of frogs.
Yes.
And I remember that story, but that's just a story. And anything can be reframed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And just before dinner, I took a bug picture. It was a very large bug. It was like this big. I was like, what do you do? Other times I would have been like, ew.
Yeah. Well, and 2 nights ago, I had a massive centipede, like seriously, probably 6-7 inches long in my kitchen. Wow. We have pest control because I want them to stay outside, not in my house. But my daughter, she comes running out. I'm outside. Mom, there's a centipede in the kitchen. So I come in, and one thing that I have learned how to do is I'm not afraid. Now, they are ouchy if they bite you or sting you or whatever. And I didn't like stomp on it or anything. like old Lisa would have tried to do. But I got the tongs, and this is what I've learned here living in Hawaii. Tongs are your friend because they're long. And so I got the tongs, I got it, and then I just took it outside and put it over in my neighbor's driveway.
And we hope your neighbor does not see this. Yeah.
They have a very long driveway. It was the beginning of the driveway. Like, yeah.
Follow the yellow brick road, little guy.
Not back to my house. Yeah. Wrong direction. Get on a different timeline. It's over there. This is not the timeline you're looking for. Okay. We should say hi to a friend of ours here. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
How are you? He's multitasking, lurking. Very cool.
Yeah, we have big water spiders here. And, just that idea of like boundaries. There was one who had a nest just outside our patio door. And I was like, you're lucky you laid those outside my house. Because I always tell spiders, I'm like, it's fine, but no babies in my house.
Exactly.
In my house.
Out you go.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee says she has spiders around her front door. She sees them as guardians and say hello. And she sees them. Very nice. Yeah, those water spiders are huge.
Mm-hmm.
They can be quite large. We've had them around here because we're not far from the beach. So
yeah, I remember my first. I digress. My first time ever seeing one, because where I was from, like, we didn't have gigantic spiders, but I never lived like right on the water or anything to see them. But the very first time I saw one is I lived by the water, but I was walking out of my office and the lampshade was reflected in the picture. And I looked at it and I was like, what is that? Like, it looked huge, right? Because it's the shadow reflected on the
right.
I'm like, okay, I know it's just a picture and it's not on the picture, but that's coming from somewhere. And I was like, what is it? And I turned and I could see it like on the other side, like it was on the inside of the lampshade.
Okay. Yep.
Like, I don't even know what to do about this. And I poked the lampshade and it jumped into my printer and I just ran out of the room screaming. Again, those moments of, I think I'll be okay, but you don't know what you're going to do in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And at that moment, I was running scared.
Yeah. Well, and that's a distinct possibility when we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We have a fight or flight response for that reason.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if I've shared this story. I'll share it real quick because I know we're over an hour now, but whatever. So a few years ago, I had
our show. We can do what we want.
I know we had some. It's speaking of the flight or fright, like the whatever fight or flight kind of scenario. So a few years ago, had some guests on my UFO tour who live here in the village, so they're in my neighborhood. And a couple years before that, they had been night fishing at our local boat launch, which is 15 minutes north of where we live. And it was 9:00 at night. They're just out there fishing. And this massive white light craft comes up out of the water in front of them. And it scared him really bad, right? So they drop their fishing gear, they hop in their truck and just drive off super fast. So you don't ever know what you're prepared for or not.
It's true. Yeah. I consider myself grateful that we have some of the experiences that we have. because at least our brains can make sense of.
Yeah.
You know, there's a framework started in there, at least for what we know. And so that's helpful.
Yeah.
You know, it's, and I think that's what they're trying to do, the Galactics, right? A little bit at a time, give you this piece of the puzzle. Now we'll give you this piece of the puzzle, maybe these two here, to help make that framework so that when we do get faced with it, we're not running away screaming like we are with spiders and
or my daughter with the centipedes.
Or centipedes.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've done that similar thing. I just can't, it's not coming to mind, but I'm sure that I've done the same thing. I
know I have, for sure. And even as a biologist, zoologist, I've done it. Yeah.
Well, and it's the startle, I think, as well, right? So sometimes we get startled by it, and then we're like, okay, I can go back and look at it now.
Yeah, but we have to calm ourselves down and get out of that reactionary place. Yeah. Right. And I think that, you know, also noticing when things startle us, like what our tendency is. Right. Because again, my tendency is I'm hightailing it out of there. I'm not sticking around. Right. But if our natural response is to fight, that could become problematic. Right. Yeah. So we do want to know kind of what our tendencies are in terms of navigating things that are really hard for us, just so that we can be more aware of what we are going to do or not do in that way.
Yeah. Well, the more we face our fear, the more we break down some of those barriers, right? Or some of those limitations, self-limiting beliefs and stuff that we put on ourselves. So.
Yeah. Well, and I know, I mean, you do the tours and stuff. My last mom.
She's laughing. She's kidding.
Right?
Hypnocity says, how cool would that be?
Yeah. But like thinking about, you know, with the tours and how you were saying, like if something actually did come down and land there, that piece of like, how would we be? Because we don't know. And I'm thinking about even, you know, the times where I have either seen or heard, right? Like I know it's there, but if it had actually come down and was like, hey, Jen, let's chat. I don't know that I would have in those moments been, I'd like to think I would have been okay, but I don't know that I would have been okay. And I talked to them a lot.
Yeah.
And I still don't know that my nervous system in that moment would have allowed me to be present enough to make a decision that my brain could, you know, go, okay, we're still safe. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that I sort of had that when they came to my backyard, because for me, I was seeing them. So it was there. And I was like, Archangel Michael, calling in backup. You're going to come with me, right? And he just like, I rolled and was like, of course I'm coming with you. Yes, I'm always here. So apparently I call for Michael instead of Mom. So if you ever see me running around saying, Michael, you know what's going on. It's all good. We shall get small tastes, I think. Right.
Yeah.
And I love that they're willing to do that, right? To take the time to help us to desensitize some of the stigma and everything else that has been there for so many years, and to help us kind of reprogram before they get here. I just think, you know, it's a lot of work on their part to help us navigate all of this.
It is. They have a level of patience I don't understand in this human life.
But it's that just is evidence towards they're not here to hurt us.
No, they're not.
Right? They're here to love and help us. So
yeah,
the more we can appreciate that, and
And yeah, so for all the NASA and scientists and anyone saying what 3-eye atlas, oh, we have to fear it. This alien thing, it's bullshit. No.
Yeah. If we had to fear it, we wouldn't be here already.
There are other things here on Earth that we have more fear of or should have more fear of than something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
yeah,
all timelines exist simultaneously. So create your own reality. Clarity.
Just jump on a different one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Different timeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
That direction. I'll play traffic control.
Yeah.
Wait, I need clarity for that. Oh dear.
But I love the timeline that brought us all together.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too.
With all of you too. Like I just
not just us on screen. Like this is the community.
It is. Yeah. It's a collective community. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Melanie says it's what you make of it. Yeah, exactly. So what have you got going on, Lisa? Anything you want to share before we finish up for the evening?
Yeah, well, so I talked about it a little earlier, and we're at 111, so I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
So again, next week, I don't know which day, but next week, stay tuned. I will be announcing the reveal cover and then my pre-order author signed copies with a special bonus will be live. And the pre-order will be good until October 12th, and then doors shut. So I can order the the copies to make sure they get here in time to mail. But then official book release November 2nd, 2025, master number 22. Thank you, Skip.
Beautiful.
And then I was going to do my certification program, but now with the book launch, that got pushed out because there's too much going on. So that'll be at the beginning of the year.
Divine timing.
All in good timing, yeah.
Here we go. A Twillo Hawaii trip. Here we come.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Hypnicity.
I want to do this tour.
October 1st. You want to do what more?
I want to do this tour.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Imagine, I can't even imagine like what we would all experience together. Oh,
my whole body is just like, oh.
I just got a whole bunch of chills. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Divine timing, we will make it happen.
Absolutely.
What have you got coming up, Jen?
That's a great question and something I probably should have looked at. Let me see. So no, we're good. I had this today and then Twillo Talk on Monday.
With Ellen.
Yes, with Ellen. So that will be super fun. And then on Monday we can talk about what comes next.
Because, we have something on Wednesday night too. So we'll step into that on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. All righty. Well, and that's about, I have the same because, Jen and I do so much together that those are the things that I have at this point. Yeah, there'll be stuff coming soon. I have been basically, we have the Holistic Healing Fair next week.
Yeah. On
Saturday. So maybe we should mention that because we'll be, if you're in the Ottawa area, we'll both be at that on Saturday the 4th. It's been like a time of, it seems like it's been a time of like reevaluating things. Does this work? Does this work? Does this work? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and that's it. Eclipse season and everything else. It's such a beautiful time for releasing. Right? I'm going to release.
Yeah. Release.
than focusing in. So,
yep. That's where we're at, folks.
Yes.
So, lead with love. That's my 2 cents worth. Lead with love. Final thought, Lisa?
Yes. Get clarity on what kind of life you want to be living. Put your focus there. Be in that frequency specific resonance.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Jen, final thoughts?
what comes to me, again, Rumi, exhale only love. And I think that that goes for whatever it is, right? You know, Lisa, you're talking about that clarity, you know, that exhale, that bringing forth that which you want in your experience.
Absolutely. So thank you all for sharing your energy with us tonight. And we will see you next month with Galactic Gab. Have an awesome one.